On the rooftop of the apartment building facing mine, two figures were watching and waiting. Not that I knew anything about them. Even if I had looked out my window, I never had seen them. One of a scientist with a domed skull drawn was his white laboratory coat. His dark clothes helped him merge with the night sky. The other was a young woman, her forehead also oddly domed, her impatient eyes as green as a cat's. They had positioned themselves on the rooftop long before I'd returned home from school. They had brought keys that unlocked the rooftop and had a puzzling array of equipment. A strange satellite dish was strained on my bedroom window. Wires connected the dish to something that looked like a radar screen. It was in fact a brain scanner the scientists had invented, and it was linked to a special control panel covered with mysterious knobs and switches. Dr. Blacknose had watched me at the mailbox through his binoculars. Since then, he had been content to wait as the hours ticked by. By 6 o'clock, the young woman had become restless and started cracking her knuckles. Still nothing, she had complained, pointing at the tiny infrared glow on the scanner. The bottle is still in her bag. She must have forgotten all about it. Patience, Tryphena, Dr. Blacknose had cautioned his assistant. But why hasn't she opened the puzzle? The woman had demanded. I'm getting hungry. Perhaps the time isn't right, was all Dr. Blacknose had said, stroking his long beard-like nose. When evening had fallen, they had donned special nightscope helmets that enabled them to see in the dark, but the red dot on the scanner remained unchanged. The bottle is still in her bag, Tryphena had grumbled. What's the matter with that silly girl? But Dr. Blacknose had ignored her and began whistling softly to himself. Now at a few minutes after 9 o'clock, Tryphena let out a sudden gasp. Something's happening. At last, Dr. Blacknose peered at the scanner. The little red dot seemed to bob around on the screen. She's shaking the bottle, Tryphena gasped. Any moment now, Dr. Blacknose whispered. In the next instant, the infrared dot fled into a shower of light. She's opened the bottle, Dr. Blacknose observed. She's drinking, Tryphena squealed, watching the infrared flame change shape on the scanner. It seemed to explode like fireworks. Dr. Blacknose began pressing switches on the console. Yes, very good. We're getting perfect reception. An infrared image of a human head appeared on the screen. My head. Dr. Blacknose magnified the image and zoomed in on the brain. It was filled with pinpoints of infrared light. Yes, there are her neurons. Her brain capacity is most satisfactory. He jabbed a thin finger at the screen. Observe, Tryphena, the primary connection of brain cells that she uses every day. Scores of infrared dots buzz around like bees inside the brain. They begin to form themselves into little red networks. See, she's thinking hard. Must be doing her homework, he chuckled. Then in an ominous tone, he added, now let us give her a little assistance. Dr. Blacknose manipulated the controls. Suddenly the infrared dots scattered around the brain and started joining up and clustering in new formations. There, that should harness half of the neuron pathways she has never used before, he sat back, satisfied. His eyes reverted to the screen. I think tomorrow morning will prove very interesting indeed.